Hey friends, Pete here from Rugged Outdoors Guide. Today I'm trying to do a record short video. My videos are always epic long, so I'm going to try not to do that. But anyway, today I'm just talking about storing your kayak for the winter. Not a very exotic or fun topic, but I've just written a long article, really extensive, but it's fun. It looks good. It's got a lot of features on it, and it goes into way more detail on our blog, Rugged Outdoors Guide. Just type that into Google, Rugged Outdoors Guide, and guide is with a D. It's not G-U-Y, right? And by the way, I have the links below. Anyway, today I'm just talking about kayaks. Today I am bringing my fishing kayak into my shed. So if you want to come on in here with me, you'll notice it's a pretty tight fit. And this is going to be my storage area. Now right now I've got it on wheels. It's not going to be on wheels. It's not going to be on wheels for storage because the wheels, even though they're non-inflatable, they will get flat-ish, kind of. They're like a hard plastic, and they still get flat. So I'm actually going to put this on the ground. I'm going to use I don't want hard on hard. I don't like that just because of scrapes and scratches and stuff. So what I'm going to use is I'm going to take this off of the wheels, and I'm going to put it right in the middle of my workshop area. It's all I have right here. I can't suspend it. There's not enough room, and there's other stuff up there. So I'm just going to put it in my workshop. If I need the workshop during the winter season, I can easily move this around. I can move it to the far end. I've got like my pool filter over there, or I can just bring it outside temporarily if it's not too snowy. So I can do that. It's not a problem. In the meantime, it's going to take up all the space here, and I'm going to put it on something soft. It's going to be a kind of a squishy foam floor. You know those interlocking foam floor tiles you can buy for yoga or whatever? That's what I'm going to put underneath this in a couple of strategic places so that it's just on something soft. All right, guys, I got a bit ahead of myself. I'm bringing the kayak back outside just to kind of show you how I get it ready for storage. This goes for all kayaks. I've got a fishing kayak, of course, but what I did was I got this cover. It's really windy today, as you can tell. I got this cover from Amazon, and it's a UV protected cover. It's already starting to fade a little bit, as you can see. And I'm just going to put this on just to kind of show you how it looks. Okay, so it also has straps that kind of go under and sort of keeps it on really well. I would strongly suggest everybody get a UV cover, no matter if you're storing your kayak outside or inside. Now, if you're storing your kayak outside, I wouldn't just use the kayak cover. I would use the cover, but then what I would do is I'd wrap it really tight, of course, but then on top of that, I would put a piece of non-permeable, like 100% waterproof plastic, but don't wrap it tight. Let it kind of sit loosely. Like, see how loose this is? This allows for air flow, and it also it discourages any sort of weird staining or anything like that. Like if I did this and I did it really tight like this against the hull, I don't think it would be as waterproof. You know, like when you're in a tent camping, why do you think instinct tells you not to touch the edges of the tent from the inside when it's raining? Because you might get a little drop coming through, right? But guess what? It won't come through if you're not touching it, all right? So that's kind of the same concept I like to use with this. I've had this outdoors all summer, just when I'm not using it. So it has faded a little bit, the cover has, but it still is a good cover, still fairly waterproof. There's water pockets that gather on it, and then I just pick it up and the water goes off. So it means the water's not just pouring through. So that's good. And then you'll want a plastic sheet, but not tightly covered around it if you're storing it outside. If you're storing it inside, I would say that this kind of cover is good enough. But the most important thing, guys, you've got to understand, the most important thing is that you do not let direct sunlight or even indirect daylight coming through a window that's really close to the kayak have direct access to the hull all the time. That will deteriorate the hull. Temperature is not nearly as big a deal as light is, right? That is your number one takeaway. If you forget everything else I just said here, that is your takeaway. Temperature is no big deal. If your canoe or your kayak freezes, who cares? Freezing doesn't really do anything. What does something bad is light. UV will deteriorate a polyethylene hull, plastic hull of a kayak, and it will do that to other like composites as well. All right, so just don't do it. Even if your kayak is like a really nice wooden one, maybe especially if it is, you want to keep it away from certainly direct sunlight, but even indirect sunlight indoors. All right, so here I am in my garage, and I know you're looking at canoes. We're supposed to be talking about kayak storage, but that's really the point. The reason I'm here is to show you that my wall is taken up by my canoes. I don't have any room for my kayaks. But even if I did, I would store, like I don't have a seagoing, like a touring kayak or a recreational kayak. Those are best stored with their gunnels, well, there's no gunnels, but the top of them downwards, like these canoes are. But I don't. I've got a fishing kayak, and a fishing kayak is kind of big and bulky. In fact, a lot of them have their own trailers. So I couldn't use this as a storage scenario anyway. I would have to store it on its own, on its like on a trailer, or in my case, it would just be on like a sawhorse or kayak stands. I'm going to do mine, as I mentioned earlier, just on the ground. So if you do have a wall space, you've got some options. You can put like J hooks, which are meant for kayak storage specifically against a wall, or if you have the space that I have here, you can have portable storage options like a stand that fits 2 kayaks, for example. You can get them on Amazon easily. I've got links below. But there are other options. One of the options you have is, if you kind of look up there, you see how tall the ceiling is, pretty tall. And what I would love to do, if I could, I don't really need to, and so I'm not going to do it in this case, but I could crank up, like have a pulley system where you just kind of have your kayak stored up there, and you can store it either upside down or right side up, as long as it is cradled with a strap on about 1/3 in from each end of the kayak and pulled up on the ceiling. Now in this case, I've got a light right above me, and that light would be covered by a kayak if I had put that up, on the ceiling. So and that's another reason I'm not going to do it, and I don't really need to. But anyway, it's a great option if you have that height of a ceiling, and the kit to do it is pretty inexpensive. Obviously, the best place to store it, I think most of you kind of know that intuitively, would be indoors. But at a temperature, at room temperature like 68 Fahrenheit would be great if you can do that. But most people's garages are not that warm. If yours is, great. If it's not, who cares? In fact, your garage, you can even, if you have a shed that's as big as a garage, you can store it there, because if your canoe freezes, kayak, whatever, it doesn't really matter. Like, it just doesn't matter. It's not going to cause any serious damage. All right, guys, there is so much more we can unpack about this. I'm just sort of touching the surface here, or scratching the surface. The article on rugged-outdoorsguide.com has way more information that you'll want to just check out. It's only like a 5 or 6 minute read, but there's way more information on there than I'm telling you now. The only other thing I'm going to throw at you here is to just say that some paddlers will tell you that one of the things you want to do before you put it into storage is to spray your hull, after cleaning it, of course, with a protectant, some sort of protectant. That's not necessary, but if you are thinking of that, there's really only one that I know of, and I do have this. It's called 303. It's called an aerospace protectant, but it's really meant for preventing the cracking of vinyl, rubber, and plastic surfaces. Well, that's pretty much what we're talking about. And this is the cream of the crop. In fact, to be honest, I don't even know another option. This is the one, 303. All right, and you hear it talked about all over online. You can Google it, and you'll be shocked at how many results you get. So that is really your only option. It's your best option. It's your only option. But honestly, I don't do it to my canoes on an annual basis before I put them in storage. On the other hand, if I were doing it outside, storing my kayak, I might do that. and then put my UV cover, and then put a plastic cover, which is kind of open on the bottom, however you want to store it. I need there to be airflow, or you need there to be airflow. Otherwise, you'll run into problems. But if there's free airflow, that's good. And it's just, you just want to protect your kayak from direct rain, direct snow, and sunlight. By the way, the cover that you want to put on your UV cover, on top of it, the plastic one I mentioned, would be really helpful if it was black, right? So you're cutting out the UV rays. Otherwise, you will get deterioration. I know I've beat that horse to death, but I just want you to be aware of that. The rest of the information, please go to our website, and you will be thrilled, I'm sure, if you're looking for more information about how to store your kayak correctly. All right, guys, till next time, get out there, enjoy God's creation, even when it's getting colder out there. In fact, it's beautiful, the fall weather and the colors that you get out there if you live anywhere in the Midwest or the northern U.S. Do it. Get out there, enjoy God's creation, and always keep on looking up.